Mm-hmm.
I think kind of moving
It,
on.
yeah.
And the last thing that we really expected was Jameis Winston to come down to earth just a little bit, and the New Orleans Saints come down to
Yeah,
earth
I was
a little
gonna
bit.
say not just Jameis, but the entire team a
Oh
little.
yeah, the entire team coming down. We all saw what happened last week with the Packers and everything, and I think that was more to do with the Packers not
Mm-hmm.
performing and the Saints being beneficiaries of that. This week, though, playing against a Panthers team that going into the season, no one will probably expect, no one would say that the Panthers were better than the Packers. So that's why I think this is more back to the norm for these
Yeah.
guys. With a 26-7 victory, the Saints they just looked average. Their only touchdown was scored in the fourth quarter at kind of some garbage time points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what was
Yeah.
James Winston's stats here? 11 for 22, 111 yards, and 2 interceptions. And
Yeah.
I didn't get his rushing stats,
He
but it
he
didn't.
did rush for a touchdown.
Was that the okay? That was the one touchdown that it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay. Still though, but that's the only points that they scored against four quarters against
Yeah.
a solid Panthers team. And this was a team that
Yeah.
we were talking about coming in, and we're going to get to in a second. But the Saints though, they clearly do have some flaws. They don't really have a solid receiver presence with Michael Thomas on the pup list. Is he pup
Yeah.
list or IR, or is there a difference? I don't think.
Pupless for now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, with him on the pup list, they do have Alvin Kamara. That's great, but definitely a lot of flaws. And
Mm-hmm.
with Marshawn Lattimore getting hurt and him being banged up, and I don't even think he actually played today.
Yeah.
Uh, that's only weakening the secondary
So
in
the
that
one thing for
defense.
me that was really surprising is like the Saints were really good in the trenches usually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially against the Packers, they looked really good in the trenches, and the Panthers, on both sides of the ball, just completely dominated.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it, in you can go back to any game. If if the trenches are that one sided, you can look at the score, and it is 99% going to be congruent with whoever's winning the trenches.
oh yeah,
And
oh yeah.
so I was very surprised by that. That was I guess that kind of leads us into our unexpected,
Mm-hmm.
which was the fact that the Carolina Panthers absolutely whipped the Saints.
Yeah,
I thought they looked good against the Jets. The Jets are slowly becoming the new Browns of the NFL. And what was the final score of that game? Like 1914.
yeah,
Or like
1914. Yeah,
yeah, 1914, and so they gave up a couple touchdowns late, but overall we're pretty consistently like getting to the red zone and then kicking field goals.
mm-hmm.
But then today, uh, the Saints had 74 offensive yards until I think there was a fumble. I want to say Sam Darnold fumbled or somebody fumbled from the Panthers, and then that's the only reason why they got a touchdown was because the Panthers fumbled into their
It
own
was that
territory.
close. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like
just looking at Darnold's stats: 26 for 38, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. It doesn't say if he have any picks here, but
I don't think
then
he did.
Christian McCaffrey just had a solid all around game. 24 carries, 72 yards, 1 touchdown, and then
Yeah.
DJ Moore led the receiving yards for both teams with
Hmm.
8 receptions, 79 yards, 1 touchdown. I started him on fantasy. That's always good. But
Yeah, yeah.
they have weapons. They have a good Chris
No,
McCaffrey
they really
leading the
do.
way on the skilled players. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson on both sides of the ball. It's
Yeah.
um, they're going to be an interesting team to watch. I still don't think
Hmm.
being in the NFC South. I don't think. Well, I say that I think they can beat the Bucks. It's just can they? I guess
Can
sustain
they?
this level of performance
Here,
because
so
they played against a weak Jets team. They played against a mediocre Saints team. It's when they start
yeah,
playing the better teams, will they be able to maintain this level of
this
performance moving forward?
yeah, and that's my thing is like I think uh kind of what they showed is a little bit I don't say inconsistencies, but they're gonna beat really bad teams like
Yeah,
like
Mhm.
like
They're
the
going to beat the
Jets.
teams that they
Uh,
should beat.
Yeah, and then I think when they play the Bucks, it's just if they can sustain it for 4 quarters, and can they turn those field goals into touchdowns? Because as as we saw, I think the Bucks were 3 for 5 today in the red zone for touchdowns to field goals. It was something. It,
Something like that. Yeah, most
yeah,
every time they got in the red zone, I think they
they
scored
put
a
up
touchdown.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I, it's playing against higher level competition is always going to be the biggest question for teams with a lot of question marks and a lot of new pieces like the Panthers. And so I feel like right now, I think the Panthers are moving up in the power rankings, but for now, I'm going to leave them outside the top 10 just because they beat, I think, one bad team and one mediocre team, like you said.